Welcome to Classic Game Room, where I've complained bitterly about the design of the INTELLIVISION 2 video game controller. Let's find out why. It looks like a telephone, doesn't it? Hello? Yeah, you're awful. And send over a pizza.
The original INTELLIVISION seen here was released to the US market in 1980 and features an innovative controller with a built-in keypad, as well as a complete lack of respect for ergonomics. The INTELLIVISION 2 controller seen on the left is pretty much more of the same, except they made changes to the keypad buttons as well as the positioning of the buttons on the side of the controller. Years before we could thank Nintendo for establishing the gamepad as the controller of choice for home game consoles, the best you could hope for was the simple yet effective Atari 2600 joystick. But it only had one button, and INTELLIVISION games were typically more advanced than Atari 2600 games, and could use more buttons. And this controller has a lot of buttons, none of which are in any sort of comfortable position to use. The INTELLIVISION 2 controller stays with the disc thumbstick that you move to control your character on screen, which I find frustrating to use, but it's actually better than the Atari 5200 joystick, so it has that going for it. The INTELLIVISION 1 and 2 controllers both give you a springy cord, which isn't terribly long, so you're not meant to sit very far away from your INTELLIVISION when you're playing it. And they both feel more or less the same, although I have to admit the old one is actually better. If you're going to have keypad buttons, the raised buttons are better, and also the side buttons are easier to press. The INTELLIVISION 2 buttons on the side, which are frequently used for firing or jumping in games, actually hurt your fingers after a while. And they're in an extremely awkward place. But you know what? It's the controller that you're going to use if you want to play INTELLIVISION games on your INTELLIVISION 2. As far as I know, there aren't any other ones that work. Don't think that you can pull the ColecoVision trick of using an Atari 7800 gamepad. It doesn't work. But the overlays that came with INTELLIVISION games are cool and frequently get used effectively when numerous buttons are required to be pressed during gameplay. It's handy to know what does what. The overlays are also fun to look at and give the INTELLIVISION games some character. In conclusion, if I could go back in time, I would redesign the INTELLIVISION 2 controller. But I can't do that since I crashed my DeLorean into a blue police phone box. Anyway, this is the controller that you're going to use to enjoy the wide variety of INTELLIVISION games on your INTELLIVISION 2. Because you don't have any other choice. It's the INTELLIVISION 2 controller. Better than the Atari 5200 controller, and also able to reproduce and create the Atari Jaguar controller, if left alone in a room with a bottle of wine.